Good morning. Welcome to our Sunday morning
Morning.
conversation cafe. Hi, Pearl. Hi, Khadija.
Hi.
We have the three of us today. Bianca is actually out having an interview with a radio station, which is very exciting.
Okay.
That is, yes.
So, first thing I'm going to talk about today is I'm going to complain about how cold it is.
Oh,
Yes. So cold.
honestly.
It is. I have a dog, so I don't get to avoid going out in the cold, unfortunately. And I'm just back, and I have a very warm cup of tea here, which is just kind of putting the feelings back into my fingers. And I was thinking about, we have half term next week for schools and colleges like the one I work at, and people are going to be wanting to catch up. And obviously that means going out in the cold. So Khadija and Pal, do you think it's worth it?
I'm a sort of I'm like a homebody, so
Yeah.
and so are my friends kind of. So luckily, no.
Yeah. I think if I was to get out, it would be to go on a walk. Yesterday I
Yeah.
went on a walk and it was -1 degrees. I
Oh
went
my
on a walk
God.
after my lesson. I didn't realize how cold it was until like for 1 second I wanted to send my friend a text message. I didn't even have my hands out for that long and my whole hand, I
Oh
felt
my
like it
God.
froze in like 3 seconds and I was like, I need to go home.
Yes, that's enough. Yeah, and you can't wear gloves because how can you press the buttons on your phone?
Exactly. Oh, it's very, very cold.
There are special gloves, aren't there? I know
The touchscreen ones, I think.
pads, yes, but I'm not sure. Do they work?
Sometimes they do.
Yes. Yes. Well, I think that for me, probably with being an older generation, I think that personal contact, the sort of actual physically being in somebody's company is probably that little bit more important.
Yeah.
And I know because my son is 19 and he would say exactly the same as you, that he's happy talking on all sorts of platforms to his friends. He'll often talk to several at the same time. He's very busy. I mean, in a way, you're always talking, aren't you? Always kind of contact. So I will be braving the cold, and I will be going for a walk every day next week with one friend or another, because we're only allowed one, aren't we? But I will be wearing a lot of layers. So I think it's -4 in Dunstable today. What is it where you are?
I think it's like -3 for here.
When I checked in the morning, I think it was -2.
Yeah, it's in the minuses.
Yeah.
It's got the minus in front of it. It's just not acceptable, is it? No.
The other day, I was having a conversation with my friend, and she was like, "Even if it's 12 degrees, that's hot." And I was like, "Well, comparing to right now, yeah,
yeah,
yeah."
absolutely. Yeah. Well, I don't know about you. I've been watching a lot more TV since I've been inside more, and I know there's a program on Netflix called Snowpiercer, which I've been watching. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's all about.
I know about it. My brother's actually watching it now, and my sister's already watched it. They told me to watch it, but I haven't actually seen it yet. Do you think it's good?
I like it. Yeah, I wasn't sure. It's all about some time in the future when the climate has completely gone against us and it's in unlivably cold, literally unlivably cold, and everybody lives on a giant train that goes around the world on a regular basis.
Yeah, like apparently there's like some secrets or something, but my brother didn't want to spoil it for me. So
I've seen it.
You've probably seen it, yeah. Now I really want to watch it, so I might actually.
Well, yeah, I think it's fun. I think with it just kind of obviously shows me that we're not quite as badly off as that just yet. We can still go outside, which is nice. But it made me think as well about our English learners. Where TV is actually a really good way to learn English.
Yeah.
I think if you're learning any language, I was trying to learn Spanish. I am trying to learn Spanish, and sometimes I'll put Netflix on and deliberately find something in Spanish, and then have English subtitles at the bottom. Or if I'm feeling really brave, Spanish subtitles.
So it's like with music too, isn't it? Like with music, like different like Spanish or like K-pop. Like there's some people obviously you don't realize, but you pick up on it, and also with TV shows as well. I don't realize as well, but you do pick
I
up
don't realize either. Yeah.
You know, hang on, I know this word.
Yeah. That happens a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Funnily enough, when I was teaching in Finland when I was 19, and very few people spoke English at the time. And I remember going to a club with some of my students and some of the other teachers, and all of these people who spoke no English were singing along in perfect English to the songs.
Yeah.
English or American pop, which was, and I remember looking at, oh,
that's a good way to learn, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, I'd forgotten that. Yeah, I think as well, things like even things like poetry, you know, are the kind of things that it's really nice to read in another language, even if you don't understand, because you've got things like the rhythm of the language and the sounds, which obviously, you know, that it kind of helps with that. So yeah, I think there are lots and lots of ways of using all of the social media and media around us to help you with learning your language, whatever it might be. So any of you English learners who are watching, if you are thinking, I can't do very much because I'm at home, obviously, you know, that's not the case. There are online courses like ours, and there are also all sorts of media that you can watch and help you learn your English. And speaking of our learners, I know that you guys have been very busy with Community Courtyard, our sister company, making all your plans. You've got some amazing things going on, haven't you, at the moment? You know, to tie in with. Oh, hello, Georgia.
Hi, Georgia.
Hello.
So yeah, we've got some amazing things going on. So what have you got planned for this week?
For this week,
we have a lot of tea and toast and conversation starters planned. Really interesting. Don't want to give any spoilers. So
okay. Won't give a spoiler.
Yeah, but it's we've come up with very interesting topics to have like discussions with everyone. So even when people like can't watch the live, but if they do watch it, they can still, you know, think about it with us, you know, have a discussion with themselves. Yeah, so some good topics. Do you agree, Khadija?
Yeah, we also have like story time as well. So we have like crafting stories and story time. So you're sharing your stories and like saying your thoughts on them basically, and just connecting with others. And anyone's welcome. So you can comment or actually join in as well on Zoom. So.
And as you said, yeah, like that's a good way to learn English as well. So even if it's just listening, even if it's just listening, you know, it's better than nothing.
Yes, it is. Yeah, you're right. I know I saw a really interesting message from Sophia, who runs the crafting sessions. And she was talking about sending packs out for all of the crafting sessions. And I saw it too late. I was looking, thinking, oh, I might get involved in that. But it looked really good. So what kind of crafting have you got planned?
So we've done a lot in the she has you're on Discord, aren't you? Because then she's got like events. She's sent in events that she's doing in the next couple of weeks. So like recently we did Agramagraph, I think that's how you pronounce it. Was it that or was it something else? Or Gammagraph?
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. But it's basically like an illusion paper thing, and you draw like on two sides, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Me and Pearl have been enjoying it, so and anyone who wants to join in, you can just message Sophia on the Yard on Facebook, or I don't know.
Or Crafty, what's it called? She has a website called, I will get it up right now, you guys. The Creator Educator.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you just message her, she will send out packs.
Yeah. Anyone's welcome to join as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Have a chat.
Good.
Yeah.
And have a chat while you're doing something.
Yeah. We talk about everything and anything. It's a nice way to just, if you've had a stressful week, it's a nice way to just have a break. Yeah.
It's good for uni students as well. Yes. We can say that for definite.
100%.
And Georgia just said that I think this week in Tea and Toast we're talking about food and celebrations. So if anyone wants to join in that, that'll be good, I think. I mean, we're talking about food, so
keyword.
Easy.
Things everybody likes to talk about, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think the just having that chance to chat and actually thinking about the crafting, especially when you've just got something that you're doing while you chat, as you say, is very relaxing, very you don't feel that you're on the spot. You just feel that you're getting involved in something and chatting while you do it. And so, as you say, that's a really good thing for English students. Even I know I have one student who would like to come along and she's at the lower levels of English, but this kind of confidence building, just being able to sit and listen, as you say, and do something which is really not related but interesting at the same time is really useful. Yeah, I think some of the things, well, all of the things that are being planned are incredible. So food and celebrations obviously is an international topic, isn't it? I think, I like that. What kind of other things have you spoken about? I know you can't give away anything about next week. It's all under wraps. But what kind of things have you been talking about previously in your...
So recently we talked about social change, and I think me and Pearl can agree on this. It was really interesting. So we had someone come in called Pete, and he was in the discussion with us, and we basically just gave our views on different and we movements as well. So the suffragettes, the Black Lives Matter. What else was there? What did you do, Pearl? You did.
We did about anti-war, the suffragettes, Black Lives Matter, as Khadija said, and we were supposed to be talking about union trade. However,
well, we were so involved that we all got carried away. So that's when the discussion was good.
Yes, it is.
It was all about. It was very deep for a 10 a.m. start, but it was all about protest. It was really interesting because we don't really have these conversations on a daily, so it's interesting to hear other people's opinions and views, and even if it's not something you're confident about, talk about anything. It's okay because no one's going to judge you. So if you say something that's not right, it's okay, you know. So we have fun conversations, but then from time to time serious life conversations.
Well, last week we were actually talking about the difference between discussion and argument, weren't we? I don't know whether it was in a cafe or in our game session, but and how there's actually quite an important difference between those two. A discussion being something that you don't have to have the same views. You are sharing views, and it's still a useful process.
Exactly. I think everyone's views and opinions matter.
Yeah.
They're not the same as everyone else's, but if you have your own opinion and view, that's really important,
We're
shows
not
that,
like attacking each other. We're not like, we're
yeah,
just hearing each other out and,
yeah,
looking at the other side.
yeah. So that
Yeah.
was interesting, yeah.
Well, when I run my classes, for Everyday English, when I run my classes at college, all my classes are multinational. So they all come from various different parts of the world and have different views and I find that an English lesson is actually a really good place to have those conversations.
Yeah,
Um, it's often been really interesting to hear one student from one place suddenly get a little bit of courage and ask another student from another place something about their heritage or their culture
mm,
because they're interested and they've suddenly felt it's okay to ask. And there've been some wonderful conversations back and forth. And it's just an incredibly widening experience.
yeah. It's nice when people get the courage to, step out of their comfort zone and ask questions and get involved. Like, I think that's really important.
Yeah.
It shows that you're trying.
Even if it's the tiniest bit, just like you said,
Yeah.
just questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a big question. It can be a
Yeah.
small question, but as long as you're getting involved in some type of way, that's important.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember Georgia
absolutely.
said, it doesn't matter how little the question is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No. Often they can change along the way as well, can't they? Georgia has just shared the Yard Curator Educator Limited. That's the address
Yeah.
for Sophia, who does all
Yeah.
our fantastic craft work. And also, there we
Morning,
go.
Bianca.
Morning, Bianca.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Hi. Yeah, so I think as you say, these kind of things are so useful. Have you got any people from other countries that come along to your uh, various meetings, your tea and toast, your conversation cafes?
Not that we know of. When it comes to the conversation cafes and tea and toast, it's just like n- maybe in the comment sections there
Yeah,
could be,
comments.
but other than that, not that we know of, I'm afraid.
Maybe before we joined, but
Yeah, 100%. When there was no lockdown, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's various. Yeah,
Yeah. We'll have to try and kind of make sure that people know that it's there and it's available for them as well, and try and get some more people coming in there with different cultural experiences to
yeah,
share with us.
we would love
Yeah,
that.
it would be really interesting. So if you're watching and you really want to get involved in a lovely, sociable, friendly event that will help you learn your English, will help you make friends, will give you a chance to,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely come along. We have a new event coming up that we could use called
Yeah,
Culture Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be talking about many, many things, but to start it off, during the first session, like we'll be speaking about our cultures. So it'd be nice if somebody else wants to join and share their culture experience. That'd be great.
Yeah. So like
yeah,
me and Pearl would like give examples so they can
Yeah.
watch from that, and then if they want to join in next time,
Mm.
share skills or their own culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
yes, because culture is one of those words, isn't it, that covers so much.
Yeah.
Our films, our music, our food, our celebrations, our religions, our lifestyles, our dress, and many of our attitudes
Mhm.
and all sorts of things. Yeah, it's a very broad umbrella, isn't it, culture?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
think I think culture is something big in people's life, especially when like I don't know. For me, culture is
I feel like it's a big part of you.
yeah,
Like
it
so
kind of
much comes
shapes.
from it.
Yeah, in a way, it shapes who you also become. So yeah, culture is a big topic.
It can influence so
Yeah.
much.
No, it is. You're right, and I think it is part of our identity. It's
Mhm.
certainly, a big part of our identity. And when we look at it that way, sometimes it's a lot of it we're not aware of
Yeah.
because it's something that has just grown with us and been there ever since we got here. So I think, yeah, it's very nice to actually have that conversation, because I think you realize things about your own culture. You don't
Yeah.
just learn things about other people's culture, but you actually become aware of things that are specific to your culture that you're so used to that you don't even realize you have.
There's still so much that I've got to learn about my own culture as well.
Yeah,
It'll be
100%. Me
interesting.
too.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's happened on the 30th of March, isn't it, Pal?
I think so, yeah.
30th
30th
of
of
March.
March,
So.
yeah.
30th of March.
Yeah.
So let me just write that down in the chat then. So this is Culture Club.
Yeah.
On the 30th of March. What time is it? Do you know?
We're still kind of planning, but I don't think
We'll let you know.
Yeah,
next
we'll
week.
let you guys know.
Yeah, definitely. Let me put that
Just
up there for you. Culture Club 30th of March. So keep that date free. I will have to come along and see what you're up to.
Definitely. Always welcome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I have to. I must.
everybody is welcome.
Yes. Well, I think it's a great thing that you're doing with all of this, and I think with looking at it from an everyday English point of view, English learners can get so much from it,
Mhm.
and we can also sort of combine that kind of it's less of a lesson. So
Yeah.
with the English, we obviously teach English. But it's lovely to have this option as well, which gives you that sort of more relaxed way to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for your next week, obviously you have these activities planned. Have you got anything else exciting that you're going to do in the lockdown world next week?
Next week.
Well,
Assignments.
yeah. We don't have anything interesting. We don't have a half term, that's for sure.
No, that's right. So you're still studying. Now,
Yeah.
this is an interesting comment. Rights and Wrongs podcast. This is hello. Living in the UK has opened my eyes to strange things about America, along with things in European culture that just make sense. Okay, so I have to assume that Rights and Wrongs podcast is perhaps from America, and yeah, is saying that coming over here has done just what we were saying, actually made them realize things about their own culture and some things about European culture that they actually prefer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that is really interesting. Thank you so much for that insight. Yeah, we're very welcome to the chat and a really interesting comment.
I think like learning about different cultures is really interesting. So when I used to go on holiday, because my family enjoyed traveling a lot, so when traveling around Europe or going to Iraq, it was really interesting seeing different cultures and thinking, well, why did they do this, or how have they come about to do this? What's the story behind it? So it really makes you think.
Yeah, it's usually got a very long story, isn't it? Yes.
Definitely.
I find where I've worked abroad to teach, and one of our other teachers, Stephen, has only recently come back from teaching in Spain. Actually, working in another culture actually means you have a very you're very involved in the basic day-to-day life of that culture. And as you say, it sounds like when you go on holiday, you don't just sit on a beach and be on holiday. It sounds like you take notice of what's going on around you, what the people are doing, what the sort of environment is like, which is fantastic. And actually working abroad, you get that same opportunity. So where you're seeing everybody just living their day-to-day life, and it does give you real insight into how people are thinking.
Yeah,
Definitely, yeah. It's really interesting.
I feel like working abroad would be really cool, like, or just volunteering
Yeah.
or something. That'd be
I
cool. I
tried.
want to set that out.
I wanted to do that, but I was too scared.
Now this
Same.
is your time, Tal. Your fear will dispel. Ah, here we go. I am American, but I've been all over the States and the Middle East with the military. Okay, that's really interesting.
That's really cool.
Yes, so you've not just got European experience in your travels, you've been over the Middle East, so you've got a really wide variety of cultures
Yeah.
in your experience. Oh, well, we would love to hear more Rights and Wrongs podcast. And I actually really like the name. I might have to have a look at this podcast. It's a good name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of a really interesting comment as well, that we can where you say, Tal, that you're quite scared to go and work abroad. What do you think would be worrying about going to another country and working abroad?
You know, I think, right, so I've had this thought like many times. I've also gone to fill out the form and I'm like, actually, wait, maybe next year or when I finish uni. I think it's just being away from my family. I'm like, what if I can't take care of myself? Or, what if something happens and like I'm not around my family? So I think like my family is the major key point, which is like, I know, like my mom says, like eventually you have to go and do your own thing, but I feel like right now I'm still like, I can't leave my family behind.
With family, because I've never gone anywhere like on holiday without my family, so it's obviously going alone would be like really out of my comfort zone. But then I don't know, hopefully like one day I have the courage to just go for it. But,
I think one way to think about it is obviously some of the people I teach have come here on refugee status, so that it wasn't their choice to have to leave their country. And like you, they had exactly those concerns. They didn't want to leave their families. They didn't like the idea of, there were probably lots and lots of things about the countries they were leaving that they did love, even if there was some overruling factor like a war or a political situation, which was putting them in danger and they had to leave, or would have no quality of life. So, but I think I've never met anybody who has come to this country under those circumstances who doesn't miss home and who doesn't. And as you say, we're not all rich. So whether you decide to go and look at working in another country, either temporarily or permanently, or whether your circumstances have forced you to do it, once you have done that, it actually takes quite a big income to be able to fly to and from your home country. So for even those people that they miss their homes, they miss all sorts of things about their homes and their family, and most people cannot go and see their families anywhere near as much as they'd like to. So it is a relevant point. It's something that you do have to think about. And if you have a choice, certainly kind of weigh that up.
Yeah. I think that's think Khadija can relate to it as well. I think after uni, it's just taking that big step to actually, although we're being independent with like at uni and moving away. Like Khadija moved away from home for a year, and
Yeah.
I've been living away until recently. So I think although that step has made us closer to being independent, we're still not 100% independent. We're still holding on to our families. So
Yeah.
I think it's really important to eventually just take that big step. Yeah.
That's an interesting, yes. I must admit, although, I mean, university is not everybody's path, one thing I like about university is that it gives you a half step into the adult world. Oh, here we go. Hold on. We've got, oh, here we go. Best advice is to speak to people who have been to that nation. For even nations that speak the same language or have similar cultures, like Boston and Glasgow. However, it's the small differences that shock you. Slang, foods available, cultural nuances and edict. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you must come and speak to us. Right and Wrong podcast. You have got some really,
Nice for
really.
them to join in.
Please join us.
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah, no, this is fantastic. So we will, please, if you would like to join in live at any point, please do come and join us because you obviously have some very interesting experiences and views there. And as you say, it is the small things. Often, oh, excuse my phone, it will stop in a minute. Often the main things that you miss if you go to another country for any length of time are silly things like a cup of tea or Marmite.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh my god.
Whatever it is that you really like that that just aren't in the shops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I
And also,
think. Go ahead.
well, I was going to say also things like entertainment, how we entertain ourselves.
Yeah.
Can be very different in different countries. What were you going to say, Pal?
I think, like, as you said, like food and entertainment really shows a lot about your culture. You notice that some cultures have like this really colorful vibe, and their food is so, I don't know, like when going abroad, like their food, I always, when I go to a different country, I look up what their like cultural food is that everyone goes to eat, and I have to go and eat it and
That's
take a
what
picture.
interests us the most.
Yeah. I have to be like, look, I ate this.
Yeah.
I think it's
When I went to Tunisia, their food
Yeah.
was so good. I was like, I'm gonna miss this. When we came back, me and my
Yeah.
sisters tried to make the same like food. One of them was okay, the other one flopped, but yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same feeling.
Yeah, it doesn't.
When we're over here and we visit like families from the same country as us, although it's the same food, but it doesn't have the same feel, So
Yeah.
when we go back home, we eat the same food, but it's like there's a different
Yeah,
vibe
like
to it.
with Bengali like food, like when I went to Bangladesh, it could be the same thing, but there's a different feel to it, like Pearl said.
Yeah.
Like I remember, sometimes I remember like the smells. I know that's weird, but like
Yeah, no,
there is a difference. But yeah, I miss
Yeah.
that.
It does. In a way, it kind of. So when I go back to Iraq for like a month, sometimes it's kind of like, wow, this is so different, because everyone there is like outside, they're at cafes. When we go to the town center, it is packed. I don't go. I never go to the town
Same
center.
in
But,
Bangladesh.
yeah, but like tea is really important there. After they eat, or when they have nothing to do, they drink tea in like these small cups. I have never seen so many like people drink so much tea in my life.
that's saying
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
it? Because we're pretty
Yeah,
major.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I drink a lot of tea as well when I want to drink something. But when I went back there, I guess because of like the small cups, it kind of gives you like a nice, you know, it like makes the atmosphere a bit more.
Yeah, like those fancy little cups.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
so it's
like
interesting.
children's tea parties.
Yeah, so it's
Oh no, that sounds wonderful. I think for me, I often go to, if I go somewhere different, I go in search of their music.
mm,
So I always like to hear something that is authentic for their music in that country. So
yeah.
that's a big thing for me. Even though we have this sort of international music culture, that seems to cover the whole world, is especially coming in from Europe and the UK a lot, isn't it? And America. But I do love sort of if somebody will play something which is everybody's listening to in that country. Oh, we have a message. Hold on for another message from Rights and Wrongs podcast. I'm loving your input today. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Rights and Wrongs podcast.
Yeah. This is interesting. How different
For
it can
me,
be.
it's interesting how different what is considered Chinese food is from nation to nation.
That's what, yeah, I think that's what me and Pearl were kind of saying. Like,
Yeah.
Yes, but a good cup of coffee Arabia sounds good. Yeah, is that quite strong? I
Oh,
think.
it is so strong. It is so strong. I once drank it. I only took a small sip and I felt everything turn inside out.
yeah, I'm not like a tea or coffee person. I feel like I can't.
Yeah, it is quite strong. But my family really enjoy it, so I think that says a lot.
Yes, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I know I've seen these sort of Middle Eastern coffees. I've been around it, and then even the smell, you can tell that they are solid.
Yeah.
They are really, really strong. And I remember this is one of those cultural experiences actually, where if somebody offers you food from their culture, it may not be what you like, but you kind of want to say yes. You want to sort of try and enjoy the experience because they're sharing with you. And I did have one lovely student who made me some coffee from that area. Can't remember quite well. And I was drinking it, thinking, and it had sort of honey and all sorts of things in it. It was really interesting. It was hardly coffee actually, but it was very strong. And I just remember thinking, it's even this is sharing, isn't it? Even when you go, well, I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
But it's still a lovely cultural exchange.
Definitely, yeah.
People like sharing their food with you. People like it when if I say, hey, what are you listening to? And it's something, and they can tell me about this band or traditional music or whatever it is that they're listening to. So I think that's it is always such a positive experience.
Yeah.
Just that's what you want to be in that.
Exactly. I think I have a lot of friends who are from different backgrounds. So my housemate right now, she's Chinese. So when we cook food together, she's really interested in trying my cultural food. So she always says, invite me to your house, I want to try your food, or she makes me like her cultural food. So it's really fun to experience each other's, food. So I just find that really heartwarming,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think now we have quite a lot of blended cultural food, don't we? I think that sort of things that where one type of food from one culture has kind of got blended with another kind of food with another culture, and in the restaurant world, for example, they're often kind of combining these different cultures of food. So yeah, no, it is a really interesting and, like you say, small topic, but actually it's huge in the sense of how people are and how it makes them feel.
Exactly. It's quite interesting. I find culture topics really interesting. Sometimes Khadija and her other friend, we would have like no lesson, and then we would just like turn the topic into like food,
Yeah.
and then we don't realize, but sometimes we have quite similar like kinds of foods.
Yeah,
But
it's so like when
obviously,
you were saying about tea and everything as well.
Yeah.
It's the same with us as well. I was like, hang on a second.
yeah, it's only slightly different, but we're like, wait, this
yeah,
is
there's
quite
a few
similar.
things that are similar.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
find that really interesting.
It is interesting as well, and it sort of shows that we've actually been wandering around the world, kind of sort of incorporating our lifestyles and cultures, you know, for centuries and centuries, doesn't it? You know, all the sort of, yeah, exactly. I think I had a Turkish student and a student from I think I'm trying to remember the name of the country. I cannot remember the country, sort of maybe 2 countries along from there. And they were often calling a dish something different and then discussing what was in it. And actually, it was basically the same thing. And obviously, you know, they slight differences that made it theirs. But yeah, it's interesting.
It is.
Well, this has been an amazing chat. Thank you, Pearl. Thank you, Khadija.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Georgia, for your help today and Rights and Wrongs podcast. Thank you so much for your input. It's been really interesting to hear what you've got to say about this.
It has. Thank you.
This
So
is an
we will
interesting discussion.
really, definitely. So we're going to come back, aren't we, at 1:30 for our game session. So we're going to be looking at adverbs and adjectives. What is the difference between adverbs and adjectives? But we're going to do it through a game. So it's another version. It's another way to learn English, but have fun. So I hope you'll join us there. And lovely. And I hope anybody who's listening or watching the recording will feel free to join us there at 1:30. And apart from that, please enjoy the rest of your morning and don't get too cold.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Stay warm.
everyone.
Bye.